Ordinary AWE Stage 1-.B. The second slide we called the Meadow, but it was really just an empty lot with a bunch of weeds. There was a shack and a phone line. It smelled like flowers there. It was powerful, intoxicating. We had crazy dreams there. It must have been because of the smell. I didn't like it. Didn't like losing control. In the dreams, everything was melting, and then we'd come out, everything had melted around the projector. Jesse Faden, therapy session, 2010. Neil was really into it. We found out he'd be coming there more and more on his own. Then Tom beat the secret out of Neil and found the projector. He and his goons took it. Jesse Faden, therapy session, 2010. We thought Neil had got lost inside the meadow when Tom changed the slide, but that's not what happened. Dylan Faden, interview, 2002. Extrapolated information. Unconfirmed existence of additional slide. Designation, meadow. Stage 4B. We went in and met Polaris like a star. She told us we were special. She made us special. It felt like being born or reborn, the world fading in for the first time. Familiar, but somehow different. Jesse Faden, therapy, 2010. Polaris told us how to turn off the projector. The Dun Monkeys and the Not Mother were coming straight at us. Dylan was crying. I turned it off, and they were gone. It was over. I took all the slides and burned them. All of them except Hand. Jesse Faden, therapy, 2010. Unconfirmed existence of paranatural entity, designation, Polaris. Seems like they could have avoided that whole situation if they'd just given him a calendar. Yeah. I think there's a lot of situations that they could have avoided by doing things differently in this place.
It's all here. Our home, our school, woods, dump.
God, I had to hit that trigger. Whoa, I've never seen them spawn there before.
We found the slide projector in the dump outside town. Did they recreate that too? Is that where?
Alright, is there anything in here that needs to be read? Doesn't look. Yes, there is. Ordinary AWE, stage 3. Tom and the others had gotten worse, scarier. The math teacher, Mrs. Chester, tried to make them listen, and they pushed over a piano on her, broke her legs. Then Tom bashed her head in. Bye-bye, Mrs. Chester. I always liked her. I liked maths. Dylan Faden, interview, 2002. That was the tipping point. It was Lord of the Flies level bad. The grown-ups realized something was wrong. The police came and literally dragged Tom and Hugo and the others away. Tom was screaming that the Not Mother would make them all go away. They enacted a curfew for every kid in Ordinary. Mum and Dad were pissed, asking us about the dump, about everything. I remember wanting them gone, like Tom had said. When we woke up the next morning, pretty much all the adults had just vanished. Was I responsible? Did I don't know. Jesse Faden, therapy session, 2010. Disappearance of majority of Ordinary's population confirmed to result from slide projector-related AWE. So there we go. Was Jesse responsible? Like, ooh, ammo cost per shot down. Like, old mate Darling was talking about. There's a very big, there's a link towards our, between our collective unconscious. Let's just get rid of a bunch of these. And the effect that AWEs have. So it's highly, not just probable, but possible. It's not just possible, but probable that Jesse is the one responsible for it.
Like
Either Jesse or Tom, the kid who got dragged away.
Right.
You mentioned a poem last time we talked. By Thomas Zane?
Yes. Beyond the shadow you settle for, there's a miracle illuminated.
I looked the poem up. Only I couldn't find any poet by that name. I did find a European filmmaker who moved here in the 60s, named Thomas Zane.
What? I don't...
No matter. It suits you very well. The poem? How you see things? Maybe you wrote it yourself?
I didn't.
No matter. You've said a few times that you feel like there's a piece of you missing. Can we talk about that?
Okay. Yeah, it's this. I feel an emptiness, a yearning for something that I think I lost.
It's natural for you to feel that way. Your brother and your parents are dead.
No. No. Dylan's not dead. And that's not even it.
You're referring to the imaginary friend from your childhood?
Polaris. She's come back. After a long time, she's calling me. In a dream I saw, she showed me things.
Jesse.
It felt more real than anything. As real as what happened in Ordinary.
The industrial accident in your hometown? That you believe Polaris caused?
No. It wasn't an accident. There was no industrial accident, and Polaris didn't cause it. She saved me and Dylan.
Jesse...
No! It was a cover-up. The government knows about it. There were agents there. Agents from... I don't know exactly, but they took Dylan. I'll find them. I won't stop looking. Polaris wants me to go to New York. There's a building there. I have to leave soon. I have to be there at a very specific time. Something hugely important is going to happen.
Jesse, you know we can't let you go until you're well. And that begins by understanding what's real and what's imagined. Poem.
Agreed,
Last time
Chuck.
we talked.
Definitely gaslighting her. See, I definitely thought that she was possibly a bureau employee. And there's the possibility that she still might be. But no, you're right. Definitely gaslighting. Ordinary supplement. Details are largely based on interviews conducted with Dylan Faden. See interviews redacted and redacted for relevant information. And the obtained therapy sessions of Jesse Faden, as well as circumstantial evidence found at the Ordinary site. Note that accounts provided by all three sources contain conflicting data. Example, Dylan Faden claims there were 8 slides for the projector. Jesse Faden mentioned 9. The Bureau found 1 intact slide, designation 36, and the burnt remains of 6 others. Unfortunately, these slides are too badly damaged to be used in the projector. Jesse Faden is believed to be the individual responsible for burning the slides. Notes. Dr. Darling has ordered that the entirety of the Ordinary town dump be brought to the Bureau for examination and analysis, with the hopes of finding additional slides or other altered materials. Due to the limited space in the investigation sector, the AWE will be investigated in the containment sector. Which is where we're going right now. Did Ordinary have any industry? It had a dump. The dump is an industry. Alright, I know there's a one to read in here because I say it every time we do a run. Dump cessation. Something. Dump cessation of work order. Notice, by order of Dr. Darling, all work in the Ordinary dump is to stop effective immediately. Resources will be allocated to the Redacted department. Details will be forthcoming. This area will be sealed at the end of the month. Please remove all personal effects before that time. Any photographic slides, the type used in slide projectors found in the area, should be delivered to Dr. Darling immediately.
Not a thing.
So,
Pretty unbelievable.
the whole Ordinary dump is here. Which isn't really that big to think about it. Alright, so some important things that happened in that last therapy session. So Polaris is the one who directed Jesse here. We already knew that. But the specific time that she needed to be here is obviously coinciding with the Hiss invasion. So I'm going to say that it is Polaris who let Jesse get in despite the lockdown. There was a sort of a confusion earlier as to whether or not it was Polaris or Artie that had gotten her in. We do know now, assuming that it is Polaris, and that Polaris went away for a while. So where she went, possibly to Dylan. We know that she also tried to show Dylan things, and Dylan refused. Because he was in containment. And I feel like Jesse talking about the part of her that felt missing. I feel like if you'd been separated from an entity that you were once a part of, such as perhaps your brother, you might feel a state of emptiness. So perhaps there is. It's very one way, like we get some that sort of hint towards them being the same entity, and then we get things that misdirect us in the other way, and it's going to be very interesting, I think, in number 2 to get a bit more clarity. Alright, we've got Chairboy. Where you at? Alright, first and foremost, is there anything more in here for us? Whoops. Globe supplement. Oh, so Globe is the altered world event that caused dizziness. The altered world event, the altered item that caused dizziness and nausea in people who were around it, and had places on it that were not known to us as a species. The item was found in the penthouse suite at Redacted, Toronto, belonging to David Wolfe, who was being investigated for illegally dealing in altered materials. See case 13-HQ-37. Bureau agents raided his penthouse and found numerous paranatural belongings, including Redacted, and this item. Mr. Wolfe was arrested. Article from the Toronto Daily. So why would a 36-year-old Bay Street investment trader, filthy rich, married to a model, disappear overnight? That's the question that's kept Toronto high society up at night this past week. Police say it's being looked into. Some nutjob radio show in the States claims he's disappeared to join the Illuminati. But it's this reporter's opinion that Mr. Wolfe, bored of his job, sick of his family, left it all behind to retire in some remote beach paradise. Now he's sipping Mai Tais while the world thinks he's dead. So Mr. Wolfe is the first sort of regular person that we know who has had anything to do with, well, not had anything to do with, but has knowledge of, shall we say, altered items from outside of the Bureau. But he is not the last person. Oh, we, in the containment sector, Chuck, I think you'd already left yesterday, but in the containment sector, there was a crowbar under in containment in one of the cells. Like the same crowbar that Gordon Freeman uses. It was a really, really nice little nod. And I just found out that in Borderlands, there is a scene, there's a picture of, not a picture, there's a room behind glass that has a fridge with drawings on it, and blood smeared on the front, on the floor in front of it, which is a great little nod from Borderlands to Control. Sick reference, Control bros. Preach, man.
Effective immediately. I'm setting up a new department. Dimensional research in the research sector. Transferring the slide projector there. That's where my focus will be now. The ordinary site remains as is. We'll be back to... I don't know when.
Darling took the projector to the research sector. He dedicated a whole area to it, so he knew it was important. Dimensional research. That's where we go next.
Dimensional research. Alright, so we're off to there, but we have a whole bunch to explore first. First and foremost, we've got some new things that we've picked up. So we've got a multimedia of Dylan Faden.
Dylan's a lost cause. I know I struggled to see this, but we've contained him now. I wish I had sided with Marshall. Back when it's just one person. So many dead. I thought his youth was an asset. Just too much too soon. Effective immediately. I'm setting up a new department. Dimensional research in the research sector.
All right, we've already seen that part. And we have a hotline called Descent. This is one I'll read out. You have heard the wrong/fake news. The board is A-OK/intact. The rebel faction/dissent is former/fired. The crisis/purge is over. This is not a matter/worry for you. You can hang up now, please. So this is how we know. I spoke about this when we first met the former. This is how we know that the former is or was a member or a part of the board. As it refers to them, they refer to him as fired. So we don't know why, we don't know what he is, but we do know that he was at some stage a member of the board and has since been fired. And now, oh wait, we did pick up another quest as well, a mission, sorry, which I don't actually know what was. A dark place. Investigate the sector elevator. Is that like the elevator? Like the main elevator? So we got some levels. Let's go health. And ground slam. I'm going to fast travel to... Let's go back to Central Exec and see if the sector elevator is like our main elevator. Actually, let's see if we can upgrade/equip any guns. Also, there's an interactable over there. Oh, yeah, we got a new outfit. The Candidate P7 outfit, which is just like a grey jumpsuit. It's kind of boring. So we're going to stick with the asynchronous suit for now. Astral Constructs. All right, cool. We can upgrade the gun, the grip. Let's upgrade Spin. And upgrade Spin again. I reckon I might actually equip Spin over the Pierce, because we're not really using the Pierce. So let's chuck Spin on. Let's chuck another. Let's take these off. We'll just chuck new ones on it. And let's put consecutive kill boost, and ammo cost per shot. And on grip, we'll put a whole bunch of energy back. Do we need the mods that we have on? Or is it better for us to go? We can drop launches and cost down even further. Cool. I wonder how many times we can launch now. Alright, let's go back to... Oh, sector elevator. Okay, cool. So this is it.
Engulfed the elevator. There was something there. Reaching for her. Trying to make her act.
This is Alan Wake.
It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A hunger in the dark. Investigation sector.
Investigation sector, huh?
So we're actually going to skip this? Because this is DLC. This is the what's it called? AWE DLC. So we're going to skip that for now.
Darkness engulfed the elevator. There was something there. A presence. Jesse Faden could hear it. A call. It was faint, reaching for her from a dark place. Faden was sensitive to visitations. She had them all the time. From her guiding star and the previous director. She was the perfect receiver. As if she'd been made for this. Faden paused to feel it. The force at play here. It was changing things around her, subtle, trying to make her act. Faden didn't like that. Her guide felt it too. Polaris didn't flare up in defense as with the hiss. So it wasn't all bad. Not a hostile transmission. It was powerful, but it was coming from far away. And made weak because of the distance. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A man desperate to escape. She sensed something else too. A hunger in the dark. Not unlike the hostile resonance. Waiting. She knew that desperate acts can have grim consequences. It was this, more than the man's despair, that made her follow the call. The elevator lights winked back on. The darkness receded like a memory. There was a new button on the elevator control panel. Investigation Sector. Faden pressed the button. The elevator doors slid shut with practiced bravado.
So the question that arises from this, right? As I mentioned earlier, Alan lives in a world where his creativity creates reality, right? Like everything that he writes in his current version of reality, everything that he writes eventuates. Is he writing this because it happened? Or does it happen because he's writing this? Sneak peek for the AWE DLC when we inevitably get to it. But we've got another document to read here. Television proposal. Based on the success of America Overnight, we would like to propose the creation of a television series that prevents superstition and skeptical thought as entertainment. In order to popularize these concepts among the civilian population and create less resistance to redirecting information regarding public paranatural events. We can also use a solid media outlet to test paranatural concepts on civilian audiences. Thank you, Steak. Seeing how they react to certain facts presented as fiction. In the event that the Bureau ever decides to make certain realities public knowledge, there are various show licenses that we could purchase and reboot rather than starting from scratch. One particular property seems promising, especially considering its content and tone and precisely what we're looking for. It's called Night Springs and has been off the air for a few years now. Yo, Steak, Beam Team thriving, my guy. Beam Team thriving. Fuck Devin Booker and the Suns.
Salvador, head of Bureau Security. I'm making a formal security order due to the incident.
Have we listened to this already?
Case number
Yes, we have. Yep, that's the one where the people took off to the quarry to fuck. All right. You know what? We're not going to do the DLC, so we'll skip that. Let's go back to Langston. See if he's got anything more for us. And how are you, Steak? It's good to see you, man. Panopticon. I must have slept awkward last night, guys. My neck is killing me. Oh, yeah. We were actually talking about Mavs inconsistency last night, Steak. There's a couple other Mavs fans in the chat as well. And I was saying that, at least the Kings have always been consistently fucking terrible.
Every altered item on your list is now back in the Panopticon, safe and sound.
That's a load off my mind. Missing altered items don't exactly reflect well on me, Did they give you any trouble?
The flamingo pulled me into the astral plane just like the fridge did. That same creature was there.
I was looking over the old activity reports, and multiple items have been displaying much more destructive behavior in the past few weeks. There's some connection there, I bet, but it's a bit above my pay grade.
Well, something to keep an eye on.
And if I have any more runaways, I'll know just who to call.
I guess this is my life now.
Do you often see people with abilities like mine?
We have some paranaturally inclined agents at the Bureau. Nothing as impressive as you, though. Of course, we did have your brother here. He got a special cell up top. Darling put his own people in charge. Like I couldn't be trusted. I couldn't even get into the room. In my own panopticon. I tell you, the way that Darling runs things, there ought to be an investigation. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Don't worry about it. Do you know anything about an object of power called the slide projector?
Doesn't ring a bell, but Trench's chosen few never tell me anything. Not that I'm complaining. The inner circle works non-stop. I'm pretty sure Darling sleeps under his desk. No, thank you. I have a cat to feed.
I hope Langston's got a pet sitter.
Have you ever seen an AWE?
Not out in the field. The AWEs are just altered items doing their thing. The Bureau goes in, locks everything down, and then they bring me back some clock or a gumball machine that made the town blind or something.
Just like an ordinary, with the slide projector.
What do you think of Marshall?
Marshall's nice enough. A little too special ops for me. Solves everything with a bullet. Respect and ritual will placate altered items better than any gun.
How's that?
Some people believe altered items are conduits to extra-dimensional forces which require ritualistic worship to be appeased. It's just a theory I heard. I don't know much about it.
I feel like he's a few minutes away from a rant about elder gods and blood rites.
I'll see you later, Langston.
I'll be here, like
All
always.
right. I think that is the last we see of Langston for the base game. So let's go level up. It has been a while, man. And look, you know, I always appreciate the lurk. You never have to chat. You never have to chat, but I appreciate you hanging out nonetheless. Nonetheless. I'm actually mad at your Mabs today because I just realized you're lost to the Grizzlies, and I really need you to beat the Grizzlies so that we can have a bit more space between second and third, you know? Especially considering you lost to them, without Adams or Morant. Oh, spawned in the wrong spot. Well, not in the wrong spot. Not where I was expecting it. The bloom on this gun is wild. Does the dude's cat survive? Dunno, Header, but I would assume yes. Because as far as I'm concerned, this all happens in like the space of like maybe a day or two, right? So as far as I'm concerned, yes, Langston will be home to his cat very soon. Yeah, you guys are playing. Yeah, you guys are currently located at play-ins. Obviously there's, what, still like 16 games in the season? All right, you know what? We're going to search the ashtray maze. We can't get through the ashtray maze right now, but I'm actually not sure if there are any documents to pick up in here or not. Like in the broken ashtray maze. I mean, I think there's a fair few. I think there's some to pick up in the legitimate one, like once we actually get in, but don't know about this one. Well, there is some loot, apparently. We're going to go through until I see the loot box again. Then we know that we've done every possible avenue. In fact, that chair is tipped over, so I think we're already through. I think there's only 3 cycles before it resets. Yep, cool. There it is. So once we get back to the cigarette machine, or the jukebox, whatever it is, we're done. That thing. All right, cool. So now we go to Artie's office. Oh wait, there's a bunch of side quests that Artie gives us as well.